is it going to be enough for the amount of CC that they have? And I'm very interested to see how this kicks off as we are going into the first game. BTK taking on AYL Gaming.
Super interesting game here. We see Shark. We've seen all the Zhang face today. Every one of them seems like they're taking different common skills, right? Shark electing to take the stun here. We've seen Smite, we've seen heal, and this time we've seen common skill stun. I think it's going to be a little bit tough to pull off here against some of these CC immune characters on the side of AYL Gaming, but definitely a cook nonetheless that I'm very excited for here. The game starts up pretty passive all throughout though.
Yeah, they're trying to go ahead and force her. Well, this is exactly what we were talking about. They're going to keep on this pace very quickly. Actually, Roba actually almost got a little bit of trouble there. He's going to have to use his flash to get himself out of harm's way there. And that's going to be a spell that they might not have for a little bit later.
I'm not sure who ended up getting that jungle monster there, but a good amount of contention there. Great job on BTK to go ahead and rotate up and not let them take that for free here. Burning the flash for Ramba here. Still relatively early. When you have these melee supports like Zhang Fei and Liang Po, there's not much you can really do until you get your ultimate. So since both sides have a melee support, I don't think we're going to see too many kills come down here in the very early game.
Yeah, a little bit of respect coming in. Actually, as I say that, we got Lomax actually coming down to the bottom lane, looking for some type of action. Does get that push in there, but Shark in the way to provide that shield to Mobazane and keep him topped up underneath the tower.
Yeah, so far BTK is holding their own there. They did send the pay up top to push that wave in, but I would say though, AYL Gaming, they're not really falling very behind. When you have Masashi versus something like Pei, you are kind of projected to lose the early game, but AYL Gaming is going even, if not slightly ahead in the early game versus BTK.
Yeah, and you see, I honestly, I like the aggression. Ooh, actually, big pop-up here lands out there. Board comes down. Musashi finds himself a kill onto best player, 1-0 in favor of AYL Gaming.
There's that crowd control you're mentioning there, Private. We see Masashi come in with the duel to the death, knocks up best player into the Mai combo, into the Guan Yu, and just like that, he's not able to really move and gets taken down.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Hoon laid down the board, but there's only so much he could do when you had best player in a bouncy house of doom there. Popped up about 3 or 4 times there.
Yeah, we were talking about ping pong earlier. That's definitely a ping pong that I've ever seen. It. Hoon there did trap everyone in that box, but the unfortunate thing was best player was trapped in there too with all that crowd control.
Oh, we already see good going ahead and enforcing their will. They're going to go ahead, try to find themselves being very sneaky here.
This is very deadly. Ooh.
Yeah, down goes best player again. 2-0 for the side of AYL Gaming. BTK trying to turn this thing around for them, looking for an objective here. If they can kind of get into here, they do take that out. Only lose a best player for that, but it looks like, I'm not sure if AYL Gaming was actually able to pick up that golem.
I'm not sure if they picked it up as well, but they definitely picked up the kill on best player here. And we're seeing AYL Gaming completely shutting down the Pei early game. This is not what you want to see if you're a BTK fan here. They're down 2,000 gold here, and they likely get outscaled potentially here, but they go ahead and pick up a kill. Best player, he's on the board here, takes out the Consort U in the farm lane, and it's looking like instead of, opting to farm, he's choosing to play with his team a little bit more here. He does not want to get outnumbered like he has in the past 2 deaths.
Yeah, very interesting here. You did see that Lomax kind of flashed in there, tried to find the pickup on the Zane. Speaking of pickup there, big pop-up lands onto here, and that is going to be best player down again. 3-1, and this is kind of that double-edged sword of having a Pei. Yeah, you have a Pei on your team, but if you start losing this early game, it is very hard for you to start picking up those pieces and get that momentum brought back up again.
Also, Pei is so squishy, and then the Masashi, you can't miss the duel to the death, right? No, it doesn't matter how much mobility the Pei has, you just go ahead and lock him down with that ultimate, set up the Guan Yu, and they're able to constantly rinse and repeat and use that combo to take out best player 1.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to say that the only real chance what we're looking at for here is to hopefully have Mobazane kind of get farmed up independently. Speaking of which, big pop-up lands on, I couldn't even see who that was. It was Fly Chicken who got caught up in his own jungle. All I saw was stunned on the name, and he was down for the count. An immense amount of CC that we saw from the draft that BTK just does not have the answer for at this time.
And BTK is not keeping up with the tempo. Wow, AYL Gaming is sending 3 into the jungle of BTK. They're not getting stuff somewhere else. So they're allowing this Masashi every single time he has that ultimate to use it on cooldown, lock someone down, and get a kill. And they're not getting something bottom. They're not getting a kill mid. They need to match the tempo of AYL Gaming and don't let them single out people on their team to take out in these 3v1 fights.
Yeah, and I was going to say, oh, we do see that ultimate coming out from you, and does catch Mobazane with a little far shot there as well. Shark's going to have to go ahead, find himself a quick ride home. But I was going to say, like, maybe, and a Shark got caught out in the bush, taken down as another kill for AYL Gaming. 5-1. BTK is feeling the pressure here. Another pop-up there onto Mobazane. Might be on the wrong side of Doxa there. Especially on a Guan Yu with all the pushing there. Musashi finds himself another kill off screen up at the top lane, and that is going to be a tier 1 tower in the Clash lane going over to AYL Gaming.
AYL Games getting a lot of kills, but they are up gold, they're up 3,000 gold, but they're not up an immense amount of gold. BTK, they do have a chance in these fights here, but they do need to play a little bit more proactive here instead of being reactive, because it's really hard to react to the Masashi ultimates and the Guan Yus. There's just not enough time, right? And we see Doxa moving throughout the map, applying a lot of pressure, whereas Fried Chicken's kind of stuck in that Clash lane.
Yeah, and I want to say maybe we have a different type of fight when we have a 5v5 when we start moving out of the laning phase. But right now, the laning phase has been so rough on BTK that they're starting at such a back foot that it's going to be hard for them to find any momentum to be able to catch up here. You can see already big pressure onto that golem. They're not able to find it. They do come in with the Guan Yu, find a push. Down goes the best player. We have the board on the ground, but look at the damage. Doxa gets taken down by Mobazane, as we were talking about. He's been sitting there farming. Is it going to be enough for him to be able to put on the damage? Down goes Alonzo, and they are chasing down the rest of AYL Gaming. This might have been the field that they were looking for. Find themselves 3 unanswered kills here in the mid game.
That is exactly what we need from the side BTK. I would have loved it if they gone ahead and won that fight and pushed into the enemy jungle as well too, because they could have probably contested that Azure Golem there. But big shutdowns going on the way of BTK there. They're catching back up in the gold. They're only down 2,000 gold now. Masashi getting taken out, and Zane, he has been farming all game, and he's trying to cash in some of those kills here. He has 4.9k gold. He is still pretty behind compared to Consort U, but once they get a few more of these shutdowns and the gold starts going in the way of BTK like we've seen in this last fight, they can definitely catch up.
Yeah, and this is something I've seen before from them too, is when they can sometimes allow a decent amount when it comes to the laning phase. I wouldn't be comfortable with that, but then they understand some of the power spikes. They're kind of like, all right, it's all right, it's all right, we'll take this, we'll take that. Wow. And then once they start getting those items there, they're going to be able to try to come back here. Now looking for another fight is AYL Gaming in a good position here, trying to chase down, looking for another tower. Going to go ahead and latch on to best player. Fly Chicken comes in from the side, and we see Shark there going to go ahead and latch onto Boma. 3-on-1 there. Board is out. Unfortunately, Hoon unable to catch anybody from AYL Gaming.
Yeah, I'm surprised not much more action came in there. It looks like a little bit of push coming out to AYL Gaming, getting some chip damage on the tower of the bot lane tier 2. We see Fried Chicken in a little bit of trouble here as they have 3 people on him. He gets dropped really low, but he does survive, but that tier 2 definitely goes down. Zane, we didn't quite see what happened, but Guan Yu pushed him into the grinder there that is AYL Gaming, and he gets taken out.
Yeah, he was looking for a good position to try to support his teammate from the side there, and unfortunately Doxal was right there to find the push and took Zane out. Or I want to say we're starting to realize here as we move on later and later into this game, a lot of those options for BTK are starting to fall behind. Zane just not farmed enough to be that threat that he needs to be just yet. We've seen some sparks of hope. Some of the team fighting has gone in the favor of BTK, but unfortunately when it comes to getting caught out, when it comes to some of these laning pots, BTK is having trouble. There's so much CC on the side of AYL.
Absolutely, and Doxa on that Guan Yu has just been so impactful, kind of like a secondary jungler for AYL Gaming, always comboing up with the Masashi. We see Shark here hiding and trying to make a play, does not quite connect much here as AYL Gaming looks to collapse on Shark here. They get some vision of Fried Chicken here. It looks like we got a fight breaking out here. All 5 members of BTK are here. This could be the fight if they set it up right, though. Best player getting dropped really low.
Yeah, and unfortunately we use that unbridled outburst and defensively Shark gets taken down there. Hoon is the next one on the board. That is 3 down for the side of BTK. Mobazane was already taken down earlier in that fight, and that is because Shark got caught, tried to use that unbridled outburst defensively, and unfortunately put BTK in a position where they had to turn around and fight, or just basically allow those members to be killed.
Absolutely. It looked like a good chance for BTK to force a 5v5 there, but Mai and Guan Yu on the side just ambushed them and it hit a little bit too hard as they instantly took out a few members of BTK here. Now the gold lead is starting to get to that point where it is really, really hard to come back from. They're down 7,000 gold here. They're trying to death ball here, but Guan Yu's pushing 3 people. He does go down for that though, as BTK seeing some life here, but no, once again, they trade it right back over.
Yeah, unfortunately, Shark, I mean, you're at a point where Shark should be tanky, but I mean, with how well AYL Gaming is doing, there's too much damage, there's too much CC. Shark can't even do his job. He wants to be able to check these bushes, he wants to be able to clear for his teammate, but if he checks the wrong bush, I mean, you've got the whole of AYL Gaming coming in at you. Fried Chicken is finding out here right now.
Blue team
Absolutely, Shark didn't quite have Unbridled Outburst ready there. His Fury was not charged up yet, so he was kind of caught with his pants down a little bit there. I would have said after taking the kill on Guan Yu, maybe back up until, you know, they're ready to go ahead and go back in, but I can see why BTK is trying to play aggressive. They're a bit behind right now. They're a bit desperate. They need to make some plays here to come back in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, you always kind of respect instead of sitting in the base, kind of waiting for that final choke to come through as they kind of close in around you, trying to do something, try to be a little bit more proactive, try to make something happen. Fortunately, you're at such a deficit here right now. I think we're looking at about 7K gold lead for the side of AYL Gaming. It's not completely the end, but I mean, man, the writing is on the wall right now unless we see something magical from BTK.
Yeah, we definitely need to see a great team fight coming out from BTK here, because these overlords here are going to start pushing into base, and they're going to get to that point where they're not going to be able to leave base here. And also, their scaling is not the best. Pay is going to fall off around about now. Byron's starting to fall off. They need to make something happen right now.
Blue team.
Yeah, and as you can see there, big pop-up lands. They do take down one high ground tower at the top now, surgically moving on to the next one. Find the best player again. We have a board down onto the ground, but it has trapped all the players under one. You see that Mobazane gets taken out there, and believe that Fried Chicken is the next on there. Shark follows suit. It is just Hoon, cold, out there alone to protect his base, and I believe this is going to be game one going to AYL Gaming.
Brutal ending there. Consoryu going